Hey, what's up guys? Tim here. So in today's tutorial, we're learning how to tie the world's most elegant and simple paracord bracelet. So actually, it's probably not the most simple bracelet out there. I just kind of said that to get your attention. Anyways, here it is. As you can tell, it is very simple though. This is a slightly more classed up version. So it features a classic skull bead from Schmuckatelli. I will link their website down below in case you guys want to get some of these. Two pieces of paracord actually that features a kind of reef knot or square knot as you call it here, and then it's a knot and loop closure which is formed by some microcord, and that's used to create this kind of whipping here. I believe that's what you call it. Okay, and of course we've got a stopper knot there. So this is the slightly more complicated version or elegant version I tied up, and then this is the first one I did. So I came across this idea via a post I saw on Instagram, and you know, you can find a lot of ideas like this on just Google or Facebook and whatnot. But this one is even more simple. No square knot, just a single piece of black paracord with the red microcord. I've got a brass hex nut here just to give it that slight accent. Okay, so yeah, this one is quite easy, but there's a few little techniques in there to make it look good. So I think you guys will like this one. So with that being said, let's get into the tutorial. Okay, so I've got all my necessary materials here. Got about 2 feet of black microcord. I'm not going to need that just yet, so we'll set that aside. I've got a piece of inner strand from the 550 paracord, just about, I don't know, like 1 foot doubled over. I've got 2 strands of paracord here that are doubled over. This is 2 feet in total. The second piece is 1 foot in total. You probably don't need that much. I'm just giving myself a little extra again to make working with it easier. So we're going to start off with our longer strand, the 2 foot strand, and we're going to feed our bead onto the 2 strands. So again, the easiest way to do that is to take our inner strand of paracord. We're going to loop it around like this on our 550. Then we're going to take our 2 ends, and I'm actually going to feed it through the top of the bead here, the skull. You'll see why. So you're going to feed this through, okay, like that. Now we're going to give it a good tug. This part's always a little more difficult, but just give it a good solid tug, and it should be okay. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to yank on this part, pull it through. Okay, so I got that through. Now we're going to move this bead all the way to the other end of your 2 strands here. Doesn't really matter. We're just moving this aside to deal with it later. Okay, so we've got our bead on this side, loop on this side. Now we're going to take our other strand now, and we're going to tie our reef knot. And to tie the reef knot or square knot this way, we're doing it slightly differently because we've got just 2 loops. We're not tying it with the 2 strands. So what you want to do is, I've got my 2 foot section with the bead on it on this side. I'm going to loop that over the strand on the left, loop on the left. I'm going to take this end here, just put it through this loop, and then pull. See? Now we've got our square knot, reef knot, like that. Right? Okay, so now from this point we're going to form the loop on the left side here. I've just got my prototype here for example, just as comparison. So you want to get the reef knot somewhere in the middle, as close as possible, just for symmetry. Now I'm going to move this over a bit. Now what you're going to do on this side is you're going to take I guess this strand, it doesn't matter which strand you use, so I guess one of the strands, you're going to double it back like this, okay? So I've got my knot here. Now, what I'm going to do is take, you can use scissors or knife, and then I'm going to cut the paracord right here. Okay, so that means this section from here will be gone, and then this section to this end will be gone. And you're going to be left with a gap, 2 frayed strands here, and then you're going to melt those 2 strands and join them together, and then that ugly seam will be hidden by this whipping here. Okay, So I'm going to cut the paracord now, and then we'll fuse it together. Okay, so you want to do this part somewhat carefully, because if you cut it too short, one side of your bracelet might be too short, so be careful. But of course, you can always retry. Okay, so I've got my loop pretty much met up with my example about there. And I'm just going to cut right in the middle here. Okay, just be careful when doing this. Of course, you can use scissors. Right. So now I get rid of my excess. Now I can melt and join these two pieces together. So this part might be a little tricky, but just take your time with it. So I've got my two pieces here, got my lighter. I'm going to torch them and then melt them. I'm going to do it really quickly because you can't waste time with this. Okay, so here we go. Alright, so sorry to be off camera there for a second. I was looking on the other side. Okay, so we've got our ends joined now, and we can proceed from here. Okay, so now we're going to form the loop part of the bracelet here, and we're going to do this kind of whipping here to join the two strands. So we're going to do that just on here. So I've got my piece of microcord. This part's a little tricky and my thumbs might get in the way, but I think you guys will get the point. So we're going to take our one end of the microcord and we're going to try to hide the melted seam. So I've got that end here. I'm just going to kind of lay it on top of your paracord loop down below. See, now I've got the paracord here. It's just kind of going like this. And we're going to start winding around this way, okay? Of course, you want to keep everything together. Okay, so I'm just going to start winding like this. See? I'm just going around everything like that. Let's try to keep everything in focus for you like that. So this is what it looks like right now. Okay? So there's no rule about how many times you got to loop it around. Just enough time so you cover the seam. And also, I guess the more you do, it might look a little bit better. Okay, so see, I'm just going around everything like that. Okay, and then this is how we're forming that our half-inch loop on top. Sometimes you can even just hold it like this and turn like that, and just winds more on. Okay. All right. So I think I've done enough. And on your last loop, you want to put it through the loop at the top, okay, like that. And how we're going to finish it off is we're going to look for this strand on the bottom here, this one here, and we're going to tug on it, and that's going to close the loop at the top, like that. See? Right, and now you'll notice there's this fray strand here. You're just going to pull. You're going to pull on the loop that you put the strand through, and then you can do this one here. If you pull on this one, it'll tighten everything up. Okay, now you made that loop bigger again. That's fine. You just tug on the one again, the bottom one. There you go. Now your whipping is done and your loop is formed. Okay, so we're almost done. Now remember this end here that we had the bead fed on? We're going to tie our stopper knot. So it'll be just like this one. Okay, so we can move our bead all the way over, get it out of the way. Okay, try to make sure your strands aren't too twisted up or anything. Okay, so now got our two strands here. We're going to do our diamond knot. So I think most of you guys know how to do this one. We're going to make our loop over one strand like this. I'm going to take this bottom strand, put it underneath. We're going to go over this one, under this one, and then over top the last one. So over, under, and over like that. Okay, and then we're going to bring this strand past this one up here, then up through the center, and then after this strand, past this one here, past this one here, and through the middle. Of course, I've got my dedicated tutorial on this knot. You can consult that one if that was a little too confusing. Okay, so our knot is forming. Now, of course, it's in the wrong position, so of course we adjust that just by pulling on the excess. So I'm going to adjust this knot to where I need it to. Of course, you do that just by, tugging on one of these strands here, and you feed all the excess through to the other side. I'm just going to get this knot in the right position, and then I'll finish it off. Okay, so my stopper knot is tied nice and tightly in the right spot. Got the bead right underneath it, and now I still have my excess on the whipping part here, so I'm just going to snip off the ends here, and you do the same thing. You can just slightly melt the snipped ends with the lighter. Of course, I'm going to snip off the excess here too, and then we'll be done. Alright, and there we have it, guys, the super simple paracord bracelet. So I know the example I did in front of you guys was a little bit more complicated because we added the square knot here, right? And we did the hidden melted seam in there. I've got all the excess snipped off here and here. And of course, if you want to do the really simple one, you can just ignore the square knot in the center. And of course, this is just one strand because there's no need to join the two loops because you're not doing a square knot in the middle. Okay, so there it is. Hope you guys like this tutorial. I think this is quite a nice, very minimalistic bracelet for you minimalists out there. Hope I've explained everything clearly and concisely. If you guys have any problems or issues, just let me know in the comments down below. I'll be more than happy to help you out. And yeah, if you guys like this tutorial, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time on the next tutorial.